Hey kid, don't ever let them get inside your head. They'll tell you what to do in life instead of everything you know that you could get. Don't let them guide your life towards regret. I'll fight for what I love with every breath. My past is filled with things I won't forget. I use them all to push me to my best. So treat the worst of times just like a test. If only I could go back in time, I'd tell myself that everything will end up alright. Just push yourself, test yourself, figure out what you like, and find your limits, don't be rigid, always work towards a prime. Surround yourself with open minds, people can change your life. A few friends with intent can help you feel alive. Find a passion, take some action, and with a little time, just be patient, make a statement, try to enjoy your life. They'll try to kick you while you're down. They wanna rise up while you drown. They wanna fill your head with doubt. They're silently scared that you'll figure it out. I'll make it look like I'm losing, won't bother hiding my bruises. And when they finally think you're wounded, then it's your chance to be ruthless. Make some progress, I can see that they compare. I think everyone's against me, maybe something in the air. Am I paranoid? I swear a void is forming and they're scared. I walk a straight path, not many can say that. I like to play fast, cross me and there's payback. You better pray that I don't see your face at any place that I go. I know you hate that. I've been doing fine, I'm not wasting any more time. I live for the fight and the climb. I think that the pain that's deep inside is what defines. So I won't give up, I'm gonna make it to the top. I don't care what's in my way, I swear I'm never gonna stop. I could fall flat on my face and I swear I will get back up. Cause I don't deserve a thing and the road ahead is tough. They'll try to kick you while you're down. They wanna rise up while you drown. They wanna fill your head with doubt. They're silently scared that you'll figure it out. I'll make it look like I'm losing, won't bother hiding my bruises. And when they finally think you're wounded, then it's your chance to be ruthless.
Hello everybody, and welcome. Alright, we're just going to cut the game sound off here for a second while we have a little chit chat. Welcome back. It's Monday night, so y'all know what that means. It's the GT45 Gaming Motorsports Multiclass Championship, and we are back for round number 3. And on the screen in front of you is our track of choice for today, and it is Suzuka. So the boys and girls loaded the equipment to cruise up on the planes, flew overseas, and hit the island of Japan for what's going to be a very tough race this season here at Suzuka. Suzuka is very tough to make passes on when you're racing your own class of cars. We're having 2 different classes of cars battle it out here at Suzuka tonight. There's going to be some patience required, and where you run into each other is going to be really kind of an important factor, I think, in the race for some people tonight. It should be interesting. Plus, we do have the random weather model, so rain could potentially factor in today's race as well. All right, so as we continue on here now, this is we have recommended blue flag areas. This is a suggested zone where the GT3s can ideally let LMPH through without any real issues, or another GT3 can let another GT3 through, or LMPH versus another LMPH, so on and so forth. But blue flag situation, this is where the best ideal locations on Suzuka are, and in all honesty, the blue flag zones are really the only ideal locations really to pass also on the racetrack. So about 60 to 65% of this racetrack this evening is going to be very difficult for the racers to navigate, as they start to run into each other a little bit traffic-wise. All right, so Suzuka is a 3.81 mile racetrack, 3.61 mile racetrack, 5.81 kilometers. It has 20 left and right hand corners. It is a real world circuit and has an elevation change of approximately 131 feet from its highest point to its lowest point. Suzuka is a tricky racetrack. It's a fun racetrack. It's a good GP circuit. It has some high-speed sections that are really mixed in with some really technical sectors. So the fact that we're throwing cars in together that are roughly about 13 seconds apart in time around the racetrack, that potentially could be more now, since we just had an update a few days ago here on Gran Turismo. And of course, that has changed all the BOP for all the Group 3 cars. Essentially, every Group 3 car took a horsepower nerf, and it's created the class to become about 1 to 1.5 seconds slower for the average racer compared to what we've been used to running for lap time. So a 2-minute time is a really great time. A Suzuka in a GT3 car, it's going to be a much more difficult task to maintain that pace, I think, now post-update, but I guess we'll have to wait and see what our drivers have in store for us. Obviously, with new update changes, some drivers adapt better than others, so right now we are just chilling out. We're just keeping an eye on things. But you guys can see what we can see. Just watching Ride the Light right now, as he has opted to swap from Toyota Supra to Lexus. Fast Ginger has also opted to swap from, I believe it was BMW M6 to Mercedes AMG 2020 edition as well. Due to the BOP update date, it was asked if the GT3 drivers could choose to change their car if they want to, and we have allowed that to happen. So we may see some drivers in different cars this week compared to the last 2 weeks. And really, at the end of the day, that's kind of irrelevant as far as the championship goes. It doesn't affect anything as far as the championship goes. We don't have any manufacturer points or anything going on like that. So, I mean, really, we just want the drivers to be comfortable, have fun, and they get the one change for free. And if they choose that, 4 months down or 4 rounds down the road, they don't like the car anymore and they want to change again, of course, it would be a very heavy penalty that comes with that points wise to make that change. So they'll have to make a tough decision. We don't have everybody out on track practicing here, but we should test our keyboard to make sure it's working. It does appear to be working. We are missing a couple of our drivers here so far. I just want to keep an eye on things, make sure I'm not missing any pertinent information. Does not appear to be. All right, so we're trying to work on this game audio balance, so we're gonna do that. Let's see if bear with, it's gonna slightly change just a little bit. Any gain at all. That looks good. That looks very good. Alright, I think we got a good balance rolling here. Alright, so Dylan is our championship points here. Oh, that's the graphics I was missing on the stream tonight. We do have the standings. That's why we've got other devices, right? So we can keep an eye on, keep information at our fingertips if we need it, so to speak. A day and age of technology here. So we do have, Dylan is our championship points leader for the LMP8 overall championship. He has a 6-point lead currently over the rest of the field. We had one of our LMP8 drivers miss last week, and of course we had one of our drivers did not have a GT3 teammate for the first week as well, so there's a little bit of an imbalance in a sense right now early on in the points, but that should start to kind of balance itself back out hopefully here as we progress through the season. Again, a little bit of a different point system this season. The drivers are getting a point per lap plus bonus points. We get a point for fastest lap, you get a point for pole position, you get 3 points for first, 2 points for second, and 1 point for third place. Everybody else gets the amount of completed laps for points. Tires are 4 times tire wear, and fuel is 3 times consumption. So every time the drivers go around the racetrack 1 time, we are using 4 laps worth of fuel and 3 tires, and 3 laps worth of fuel. We always get that leveled up. And it is completely random weather, so I don't know what's going to happen. The drivers don't know what's going to happen. In the case of rain, medium tires are a required tire here this evening, but in the case of rain, that tire mandate will go void once we hit 33% moisture on the in-game moisture meter, which is on the left-hand side of our tires. Other than that, it's the same business as usual. Our GT1s will go out and qualify first today, and our GT3s will finish things off. So with that being said, we do need to go back to the intermission screen. So I can get the drivers ready. Do have all but one. Who are we missing? Oh, never mind. We have all. Alright, so as I was saying, medium tires are required this week. And it sure looks like, if I'm not mistaken, that was just some rain, I see. It's raining on the racetrack right now. Good thing we gotta do a lobby reset. It totally just rained. Alright, so we are going to do our double lobby reset. I think we forgot to do that last week. So we're just working on that right now. I know, right? Look at that track map. That beautiful track map provided by Miss Devious has lots of tidbits of great juicy information on it. Alright. Let's get back to business, shall we? Let's get rid of that track map for a second. Not that we don't love the track maps. We do love the track map. We are going to bring back up the screen. Alright. So that was a hint of what we could potentially expect to see here tonight. There was just a slight amount of rain right before we're getting our lobby reset done. So potentially it could happen tonight. It's going to hit 33% tonight. It could. It very well could. I mean, Suzuka is a 50-50 shot at whether or not you're going to get rain. So the potential is there. And the concern is, of course, do you make the call to come in? Alright, so usually we don't show you guys this, but you know what? That's okay. One more reminder that it's the GT ones first. If I could spell tonight, that is. I cannot spell tonight. Alright, look at us. We are like smack right on time. We are right on time. That is perfect. Alright, the important thing here is that all of our drivers are here. We got 1, 2, 3. We got 1, 2, 3. We got 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6. Love it. All right, let's go racing, chat. Well, let's go qualifying. Let's go qualifying. Let's rephrase slightly, shall we? All right. We definitely want to spectate. We definitely want to see all the good stuff. Alright, so Dylan is going to lead us out as per the usual here so far this season. He is the one with the target on his rear bumper at the moment here in the series. Again, with a 6-point championship lead over the next closest competitor, which I believe is JP. And, I mean, everything can change. All it takes is a couple fast laps, takes a pole position, maybe you get a lap in hand or two on a driver throughout the season as the season progresses, and bada bing, bada boom, those 6 points are gone in no time. Anything can happen. You may find a track where it's driver's kryptonite per se. It's hard to say. We got Egon second out here for our LMP H class tonight. We've got Jolly Rancher out on track here for our third LMP driver. J-Set is our fourth driver out, with JP not too far behind, about a second or so in behind. And we've got TDC Gaming with a damn cat here from Team Rad in final position here in 6th place. Again, there is still room for one LMPH and one GT3 combination here on the Mondays as well, so potentially only one. We'll have to wait and see. But for the time being, it is a 6-6 lobby. Unfortunately, we wish lobby sizes were bigger. It would make it so much more interesting and fun and dynamic, but just working with what we've got to work with here, unfortunately. But these guys and gals seem to make it work pretty good. So Dylan's coming around here. This is just a out lap. So this lap is just basically a chance for them to get a feel for the car, the track, get a little bit of heat in the tires, and set up for what is now the flying lap. So the drivers are only going to get 10 minutes here in qualifying, and then they will have to jump into pit lanes. So the GT3s will get roughly 13 minutes of qualifying, give or take. At that point, because they will take it to the checkered flag from there. So then in round 4 we'll see that reverse, and it's just an interesting way to qualify. But it's also a lot of these racetracks, the LMPH will catch the GT3 class in roughly 4 to 5 laps. So with that being said, that could cause probable complications in qualifying on most of the tracks here available to us currently in game, with the exception of a couple of racetracks which we should be able to run both classes out at the same time. Alright, so as we come around the hairpin, that takes us into Dunlop. I think that's Dunlop. It could be Dunlop. I have a track map, I'll look at it. That takes us into Spoon Curve. I know this is Spoon Curve. which of course leads us up into a long back straight here, which leads us into 135R, which is, in these prototypes, is going to be pretty much a full send corner. In GT3s on the soft should also be a full send corner, but the prototypes are going to zip this thing. As you can see, they're almost 190 miles an hour. And then you got to come into a really hard braking zone in the Casio Triangle here. It's a set of 3 chicane-style S's, essentially, and then that launches you back out into a straight line around the corner into the start-finish line. So it's going to be a 144.8 from Dylan. What Egon has in response here is he's our second LMPH driver out on track at the moment. And it's going to be what looks like a 2:11 there. Jolly Rancher's going to be a 47. We've got, we're not getting accurate timing information, so let's get back to it here. A 46.2 for Jay. GP sits in there in third place with a 46.3. Egon's with a 47.3, and Jolly Rancher with a 47.4. TDC jumps up into P2 with a 45.65. So there we go, about 7/10 of a second off of our race leader here so far, or our qualifying leader currently, our current potential pole sitter, provisional pole sitter. That's what I'm looking for. But nobody's had quite a response for Dylan here yet this season, but TDC's looking sharp here on that first early qualifying lap. Jay said here's only 1.3 seconds off there as well. JP is literally only a 10th of a second in behind Jay said. Those two seem to be very close together all season long. And then a second with Egon and a whisker between Egon and Jolly Rancher. So things are going to start to get interesting here as we're only 5 minutes in. So as you can see, we're just hitting 135R now. The drivers can finish their flying laps if they run just a hair past that 10-minute mark. It shouldn't interfere with the GT3 cars, and then of course they'll remove themselves from the racetrack from there. Depends how far. Long start. Alright, so it is an improvement here, and we're not getting correct live timing today, which is unfortunate. So it's a 44.344 coming from Dylan as he comes around here, and then that puts, I believe it's Egon next to come through. And he does find an improvement with a 146.541. Jolly Rancher also improves there in 6th place with a 146.83. We got Jay now moving himself up into 2nd place with a 145.416, but still a little ways to go there to take that pole position away from Dylan. JP does also improve to 45.762, where is Mr. TDC, and TDC does not improve that time around. So most of the drivers improving on that second lap around, and there is no tire and no fuel consumption on in qualifying, which means the drivers are essentially, quote unquote, in optimal racing condition right now. The car is essentially on qualifying fuel only, and it's with essentially scrubbed in sticker tires. After this many times around Suzuka now, it is easily optimal temperature in these tires now as well. So the only real fluctuation I find in qualifying setup like this is that tire temperature. It's a real thing in Gran Turismo, ladies and gentlemen, and it does it affects it in every kind of log. It doesn't seem to matter what kind of conditions it is. Your tires need time to build up air pressure, which means they need time to build up heat, and that's what gives you your traction. So as we head into the Casio Triangle here with our provisional pole sitter, he's going to get another crack around here, And it is a 44.836 there from Dylan that time around. I believe it's going to be Egon coming next through, and then Jolly Rancher just in behind. And it is not an improvement there for Egon either. We got Jolly Rancher, and then I believe it's Jay in behind him. Oh, somehow that got changed. Alright, JP goes into 2nd place here with an improvement as well, and that's a 145.387 there for JP. No improvement there for Jay. We got TDC is just coming through right now. He had a little wiggle there, and not an improvement there for him either. So one last crack here for our LMPH racers. As we're also keeping an eye on that timer, because we do need to make sure that we get the GT3 cars out at the 10-minute mark here and let them do their qualifying session here as well. And then from there we will move to a 5-minute break period for the racers to prepare their cars for racing conditions. Gives them a chance to take a look at the weather radar, stuff like that. And we will get underway for a 1-hour endurance race. And the only tire mandate here is that the drivers must use racing medium tires at some point in the race unless it rains, and that rain gets to 33% track moisture based off the in-game meter. So Dylan gets it wrong coming around 35R there, and I'm actually kind of surprised he doesn't pick up a penalty there, but that is not going to find him an improvement on his laps. So we will sit with JP, who is currently the closest road driver to Dylan, and he is up right now, but not up enough to remove Dylan off of his throne unless he gains about a second through the Casio here. As, ooh, and a wicked wiggle there coming from JP as he comes through, and that was a great save, and it's still an improvement of 45.2 there from JP, which gives him a little bit of breathing room over the rest of the field chasing. We got TDC here. He is going to come through and record his final lap here. And it is a 46 flat, so it wasn't an improvement there for him either. Egon will have enough time, I think, here to potentially get his lap in. And where is Dylan? Dylan and Egon will be good. So let's send our GT3 out here. Gals, guys and gals, pardon me, gotta quit being so gender specific here, right? Alright, so GT3s are out here, and our pole sitter here is just finishing up his lap here. Oh, there we go. Alright, so it looks like it's going to be Fast Ginger out first for our GT3 division here in qualifying today for round 3 at Suzuka. Welcome in, everybody. Hope everybody's had a fantastic Monday. Why would you say that, Ghost? It's Monday. Well, I know, but we got racing for you now, so it's all better. Alright, so Fast Ginger here at the helm. He is swapped from the BMW M6 to the Mercedes AMG 2020. Ride Lightspeed in behind him has a swap from Toyota Supra to Lexus as well. And I don't think I've noticed any other changes here in the grid for our GT3 class since the BOP update. That was approved by myself and administration staff just yesterday, that we would allow a free car change for racers in the GT3 class due to the BOP differences. So, part for the course stuff in the championship that usually happens. At least one major update influences the drivers to want to potentially change their cars. So any drivers that haven't selected to change their car at this point in the season will still have that free car change moving forward throughout the rest of the season. Where the drivers that have opted to use the free car change this week has used their free car change this week. So there's that. So that's going to potentially put him in a bit of a stranglehold later on in the season if we go through a similar situation again. Car change may cost him now, right? So I guess we'll have to wait and see. Alright, so we had a slight little change of position here on the outlaps between Miss Devious and Fast Ginger here. So Miss Devious had a good run on Fast Ginger, but chose to just stay behind the Picasso triangle, and then Fast Ginger gave the position to Miss Devious heading into turns 1 and 2. Just some fair play involved there between the drivers. It's tough when you have different skill level of drivers in the cars do sometimes, because you try to leave yourself obviously enough breathing room to have your run, have it close in on somebody or have somebody closing closing in on you, could potentially interfere with your qualifying run, and like just like that right there, right? Ginger just checked up a little bit on the inside of the corner. Now, granted, it didn't cost him a ton there, but it's going to be enough to relate to a couple tenths of a second, right? I mean, in qualifying, obviously every millisecond matters, but it's still early on. They have 12 minutes essentially. They'll get about the same amount of laps as the LMP drivers did today, just surely because GT3 cars, I suspect, are going to not quite break 2 minutes here. If they do, they are really ripping. Find out. I'm not sure. We're a little unsure about what the lap times are going to be in the GT3 class since the BOP update, so we're kind of still feeling all that out. Alright, so Miss Devious will be our first to come through the line, and then it'll be Ishmael and Ginger, I think. I'm not sure. Might be Lightspeed. Alright, so Ishmael's going to come through and leapfrog Miss Devious there, right? Lightspeed's going to come through and sit right in behind those three. Fast Ginger's going to come through and sit where Fast Ginger is. He's probably going to drop down to potentially the back here because he's been giving up the positions his whole entire qualifying lap, so we'll have to wait and see. As Meta comes through, he is going to take 10th place there, as I suspected, and then we've got Sheriff coming through there. Looks like he is lagging a little bit. Going to come through and is going to be essentially 4 tenths of a second off of Ride the Lightspeed. I mean, I'm seeing a little lag here coming from Sheriff here today, so hopefully that corrects itself. Alright, so Ishmael is our current provisional pole sitter here for GT3, and there is that ever so important bonus point there, so Dylan will lock down that extra bonus point heading into race start here for his pole position in the LMP class. Now we're going to find out who is going to be the recipient of that pole position point here in our GT3 class. And the GT3 class this season has been a really tight battle between essentially 4 drivers here, so we would assume we're going to continue to see that as this race progresses. Suzuka kind of, you either love it or you hate it as a racer, I think, and so that may play a factor into today's race a little bit here, but obviously, and the weather is going to play a major factor into the race here today a little bit as well, so. Alright, so Miss Devious does a good run coming here. She's got the current pole sitter just sitting right in behind here, so he has closed in a little bit. Wow, he got a run on her through the Casio there, and I don't think that was an intentional run, but just a difference in braking between the two drivers right there. Man, did that BMW tuck right up in there. And oh my, that was interesting in qualifying here, and Miss Devious is going to settle right in behind, but you know, she can use that same advantage essentially that Ishmael just used. She can sit in that slipstream now and try and gain some free time that way as well, but wow, did Ishmael ever close the gap up insanely quickly right there. Under braking, Sheriff's going to come through here. He does stay in 10th place for the time being. We got Fast Ginger coming through. He does move himself up into 11th place, and we've got Medicare, who is still figuring out that Ford GT race car, it looks like, and he did opt to make a choice from Ferrari to the Ford GT race car as well himself, so very quick car, but it is definitely a handful here as well, so maybe tough racer as Miss Devious gets a little bit slick off the curb there, and we can also see, I believe it's Ride the Lightspeed in behind. Miss Devious coming around Degner 2 there as well, with the same kind of slip and slide motion coming off that curb, so the drivers are going to have to be aware of that in the early morning conditions here as the sun's rising, and it's going to be a little bit slippery here, but of course Suzuka with the sunrise in the early morning too is it's really hard to say what the morning is going to bring to the racers. It could bring a really nice sunny picturesque morning, and the track just warms up nice and it comes right into the racers, or it could go completely in the opposite direction and it could be just a little bit hit and miss. It could be a little overcast, it could be a little bit spotty. or it could just be outright just miserable and raining out. So I mean, there's one of three options that are going to happen at Suzuka, and in the early morning at Suzuka is typically when we see a pretty good drastic weather change, I guess. So we got Ishmael coming through here. He's a current pole sitter in GT3. He does find that sub 2 minute. Misdevious is at a 2 minute point 7 there, and Ride Lightspeed does maintain his position there in second place for GT3. We got Sheriff here. He's definitely having some lag. Point of view, might not be on the rest of the racers' point of view. Again, that's just the way this game seems to work lately, but it is a 202.7, so definitely not his best lap there. Fast Junior does improve with a 201.4, and Medic improves there with as well. No, 205 was his first lap there, so I think he looks like he's going to call it a qualifying run there. He's still got enough time for another lap yet, because these drivers will get that extra 3 minutes after the clock. And the reason why the clock runs 3 minutes is because, again, the GT3 drivers, for the most part, are a 2 minute plus lap time around Suzuka here. Ishmael with 159.75 too, so pushing the envelope on the lap time here for sure. I believe it's Ismail that is leading our individual GT3 championship at the moment. It's very close between him and Ride Lightspeed, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it is. It's only a 4-point separation, and the Ten Tenths Simracing is right there in behind Ride Lightspeed with only 1 point in behind him. So it's only a 5-point overall separation between first and third place right now when it comes down to our GT3 individual championship after 2 rounds of racing. So it's still very, very close. It's still anybody's game. And Ishmael here doesn't seem to be too bothered by how the BMW is handling with this update. He's still hitting what I would expect to see the GT3 cars essentially hitting here with a A+ rating on them. Got Ride Lightspeed coming through here, not an improvement for himself there. Misdevious does get a very consistent 2 minutes here, so showing some great consistency here in qualifying was Misdevious. We got Sheriff coming around here right now. Oh, and I think he got it wrong there. Maybe not. It's just a lag. It's a 201.176, so it's not an improvement there. So that's going to put him 4th on the grid in the GT3 class. We got Fast Ginger here. He is going to slot himself into 11th place, and we got Medic here who will round out in 12th position in that Ford GT race car. So there we have it. Our qualifying is settled. Ismail will get that pole position bonus point as well, and he'll add that to his championship points lead heading into race start here. So once we get our clock to run down here, we will go save our results. Drivers will get a 5-minute warning to race time, and we will go racing. Right, and team points too right now. Let's check out our team points, shall we? Alright, so it is Humpty Dumpty Motorsports, Dylan, and Ride Lightspeed with 141 points between the two drivers. Then we have T-Point Motorsports, I believe it is, which is JP and Ismail. I could have got that wrong. They just updated that here today with 139 points, so only 2 points separating them and Humpty Dumpty. And then Ten Tenths Simracing, which is comprised of Ten Tenths JSet and Ten Tenths Sheriff Doofy, is right there with 126 points, so a little bit in behind, but very, very tight currently between JP Ismail and Dylan and Ride Lightspeed. So it is going to be an interesting championship here, I think, as well. We still don't know. I was like, do we actually have somebody flying? No, everybody's just there with the flashing lights. I guess we probably could have put a 2-minute race timer to it. Never really thought about it. Because really, we're just rolling around with flashing lights for a minute here, so I just want to make sure that anybody that is on that end of that flying lap at the end of the race timer gets their flying lap in, essentially. Alright, so it is Dylan in pole position with a 144.344, JP in second with a 45.250, JSET will start in third with a 45.4, TDC Gaming with a 45.6 will be in fourth place, Egon will start in fifth with a 46.046, and Jolly Rancher will start in sixth place for LMPH with a 46.83. In pole position for our GT3 is going to be Ismail with a 159.7. Ride Lightspeed with a 2-minute .2. In third place for the GT3 will be Ten Tenths Misdevious with a 2-minute .4. Sheriff Doofy from Ten Tenths with a 2-minute .9 will start in fourth place for GT3. Ten Tenths Fast Ginger with a 201.4 will start in fifth place, and Medic in the Ford GT race car will start in sixth place for the GT3 class and 12th place on the grid here today. So that is our starting order. 5-minute warning. And we are exactly on time, because that means that the 5-minute warning is exactly just after half past the hour, which is exactly about when we were hoping to get things underway. All right, so welcome in everybody. Hope everybody is having a fantastic day. This is the GT45 Gaming Multiclass Championship. This is round 3 of 10 racing rounds, and we are at Suzuka in Japan today. It will be a 1-hour endurance race with 6 Toyota GR010 LMPH hypercars, and it'll be 6 GT3 race cars as well. So 2 different class of cars in the same race at the same time, having their own races. Weather is a factor today. It is on random weather, which means rain is a potential possibility. And the tire wear is 4 times, and the fuel consumption is 3 times. So every time that the racers go around the racetrack at 1 lap here today, and at 2 minutes of lap time, we should expect to see about 31 to 33 laps for the LMPH and roughly 29 to 30 laps for the GT3s today. We should see roughly about 5 laps of passes between the LMPH and the GT3s. However, this racetrack is much more narrow than Watkins Glen and Spa is. There's a lot less room to make that pass safely, and the rule of thumb is that the blue flag cars to remain predictable. So if the LMPH has to take the outside of a corner to make a pass, that means that that GT3 car obviously has to hold that inside line to allow that LMPH to have the outside line. So hyper awareness is going to be really, really important here today, and it is a mixture of VR2 drivers and regular racers not in the VR as well. So there is a lot going on the racetrack here, and the closing speeds are quite quick between the LMPH and the GT3 cars, roughly about 18 to 20 miles an hour faster, and roughly about 12 seconds to 13 seconds a lap faster around the racetrack as well. So with that being said, it is going to be a very interesting race here at Suzuka today for the next hour, roughly in about 2.5 minutes time here when we get underway. Hope everybody's well. Hope everybody's ready. If you're not, now is the time to get those beverages, get those snacks, settle in, because this should be an interesting race. It is going to be a false start with a grid start check. Turn 1, 2, and through the S's should be interesting. The GT3s seem to launch just a little bit faster than the LMPH cars. The LMPH obviously accelerate quicker, but I think that they're going to meet up with each other coming into turns 1 and 2. So that is going to essentially create an accordion effect into the first set of corners, and that could create some complications between all of the drivers in tow. So we'll have to wait and see how our racers handle that here tonight. It is early morning, so the sun is just starting to come up on the racetrack, sunrise, pardon me. And that means that the racetrack is not really up to temperature yet. It's cold, it's very cool. It could potentially have a little bit of maybe dew or frost still up on the racetrack. Anything can happen here today with the dynamic weather on Gran Turismo 7. the sky is the limit today. Really, it really is. And it is a point per lap too as well, so laps completed really do count here in these races this season. Having to make extra pit stops for weather is definitely going to drop the lap count down, and that means that you're not necessarily going to be able to maximize on potential total points you could get out of that 1 hour race at the racetrack as well. So with that being said, let's check in, make sure our drivers are ready, and let's get ready to race. Started about a minute early because it takes about that much time for the drivers to, respond. And for some of those that don't, because they're in the VR, they might not even see the chat. And as I say that, the VR drivers are the first ones to respond tonight. Let's go race and chat. Gotta get into the commentary spot. I gotta get just that right nook in the chair where we can reach everything. Not too much. That's the ideal situation. Alright, so Dylan is our pole sitter here at Suzuka this morning as we got our red light starting to flash. Let's go green. It will be green flag drop, and restart green. We are go. Kick the tires, light the tires. Let's get to racing, and here we go. So turns 1 and 2, LMPH heading through our pole sitter in the lead, and Jay's just getting a little bit crispy out there in the corners. Looks like the GT3 cars are managing this a little bit less gingerly. Do we have an LMPH somewhere in the background there is what I wonder. I'm not sure what happened there. The GT3 car is definitely not getting through quite as cleanly as our LMPH class did. So Dylan, JP, and Jason first, second, third. Nothing has changed at the front of the grid here. TDC is still in 4th place. Jolly Rancher in 5th. Egon in 6th place. So those two are swap positions since race start, but everybody's still fairly close together as we get through the Dagners. The LMPH class does make it through. So with our race leader, our pole sitter here, Ismail, gets through nice and clean there. Whatever happened in turn 1 and 2, he got away scot-free. 2.6 seconds up the road. Sheriff has gotten through here. He's in 8th place. We got Right Light Speed here in 9th position. We got Fast Ginger here in 10th. We've got Miss Devious in 11th position. We've got Medic here in 12th place. And Miss Devious making a pretty nice pass in the hairpin there on Fast Ginger as well. So let us do this. Let's go take a quick peek at that before we move back on to our race leader. So setting it up here, takes a little bit of a high entry in, knowing that Fast Ginger is going to take the wide exit out, cuts into the inside part of the exit, just gets to power down nice and clean. Good crisp pass there from Miss Devious on Fast Ginger, gets to position, moving back up to 4th place in the GT3 class. Alright, let's head back up to our LMPH division here. And this is hard to follow. This is a little tricky as a commentator, I'm not going to lie. So it is Dylan here with the race lead. He's got 2.2 seconds over what's now Jason in the lead here as he has gotten around JP. Let's see if we can catch that real quick. And no, we cannot. We just missed that. So it happened sometime around the 135R or before area. JP's in 3rd place here. We got Damn Cat, TDC Gaming in 4th place, live on YouTube as well. I believe that TDC Gaming, if I'm not mistaken. We've got Egon and Jolly Rancher battling it out here in 5th and 6th place here as well. This looks like it's a good healthy battle going on between the two drivers here right now, as it was Jolly Rancher ahead. Now it's Egon back ahead. So, things are getting a little spicy up in the LMPH one here right now. So let's get back up here. Let's see what's happening. Just make sure we're not going to miss anything crucial here for the moment. Let's go back to our GT3 our race leader has a 4-second gap, so very quickly he continues to make his way. And Ryan Lightspeed now up into second place. We got Mischievous up into third. We got Ginger into fourth place. We've got Medic into fifth, and we've got Sheriff down in 12th place. So a potential mistake there made by Sheriff, and there's a little bit of a gap there to him and Medic as well. So he's got some work to do here on the racetrack, but the best time to make that mistake is in the first couple of minutes of the race, because you still got an hour to make up for it. There's going to be pit stops or strategies and what what's going to happen in the skies above. So anything can happen, but what I do see is Jay is cutting in on Dylan's lead here. It was 2.4 seconds, now we're down 2.2 as we head into the Castle Triangle, so we'll see how good the drivers are in comparison to each other here through the Casio. But I see JP now under fire here from TDC Gaming as well, so let's keep an eye on the third place battle here between JP and TDC. You can see Egon and Jolly Rancher, a little bit of separation behind now, trying to chasing these two down as they start to potentially battle for that final podium position here at Suzuka. So you can see how quickly the LMPH have separated from the GT3. We've got about a third of the racetrack separating the two classes of cars here, so they are now both in their own fights here. This will last for another 2 or 3 laps, and then they are going to the entire racetrack, and that is when things are going to get extremely interesting. Hope this is ready this week. Alright, so we got Ride Lightspeed in 8th place. We've got Ten Tenths Simracing in 3rd place here in the GT3 class. 9th place overall. Ismail is leading our GT3 class. We keep skipping over because he's just got a nice healthy lead here right now, 4.5 seconds, but gotta give the man some love here. He got a great start, but unfortunately did not catch what happened into turn 1 and 2 there. Probably should have checked, but overall a little low, huh? Okay. Appreciate it. Let's see what we can do here. Fix that. Yeah, we're still audio balancing the stream. It's a little bit of a struggle, so bear with. Alright, right, our pole sitter, our current GT3 leader here, Ismail, with a 4.8 second lead over Ride Lightspeed here in 8th place. And that lead seems to be dropping a little bit here as he has opted to go from the Toyota Supra to the Lexus RCF. Ten Tenths Simracing is also in the Lexus here, 2.6 seconds in behind Ride Lightspeed, and sitting in 3rd place in her class here today. Fast Ginger is chasing in behind in 4th place in GT3, 2.2 seconds in behind Miss Devious, and I kind of suspected that we would see the GT3 class. Isn't it, do you think? Yeah, it could be. Oh, let me know if my voice is too loud now. Perfect. And we've got Sheriff here, who is starting to close in on Medic a little bit at 15-second gap. Here was, I think, about 19 seconds last time we were around. So whatever happened to Sheriff there was a pretty good off-track moment. It looked like we did see some rear aero damage on that car at one point. And then he was on light, so it went away. So that would have cost him some time on the racetrack, so it must have been a bit of a losing there, but again, long race here at Suzuka tonight, and anything can still happen here today. Alright, so Jay is 3.5 seconds in behind Dylan here as they head through Spoon Curve. You can still see him as they head up in towards 135R, doing everything he can to not lose track of Dylan up there, and JP having a moment right there going wide into the second part of Spoon Curve, which allows TDC Gaming to get the job done, plus a penalty on top of that there just to slow it down a little bit more, and that's going to potentially put him at under fire here from Egon, who's coming down in 5th place currently in the LMPH class here tonight as well. So as the racers continue to move on, Suzuka is a tough racetrack, and it's always a tough racetrack for racers, and as I stated earlier, as a racer you kind of either hate or love to race this racetrack, and that may very well dictate how some of these drivers' races go here today. We got a Jolly Rancher here in 6th place, and he's about 8 seconds in behind, so little beebles, little bobbles, little wiggles, little wobbles, and that's starts to open up gaps here on Suzuka. Alright, red light speed here, 223. Lexus on track, 5.3 seconds in behind Ismail here right now, and I'm unsure if that's growing or closing. I wasn't fully paying attention last time he split around, so I feel like that's growing a little bit actually in between the two racers, but Mischievous is 3 seconds in behind red light speed here, currently sitting in 3rd place in the GT3 class, 9th place overall on the racetrack, so just bleeding a little bit of time away here to the Lexus up in front, and Fast Ginger at 2.3 seconds in behind, doing a pretty good job at pacing Mischievous here right now as he tries to close in on her rear bumper as well. 9-second gap between Medic and Fast Ginger here. Medic's starting to find his rhythm, it looks like, here now up in that Ford GT, and Sheriff here is continuing to close the gap up to Medic here from 12th to 11th place at just over 11 seconds currently, so he is nibbling away at the backside of the pack here at the moment. Alright, so where is Dylan in comparison? I believe that is Sheriff. Alright. So minus mistakes of a couple of the racers here on the racetrack tonight, we're probably looking at about 7 or 8 laps before we're going to see the LMPH cars pass the GT3 cars, but due to a couple of moments on the racetrack with a couple of our individual racers here early on, we're going to see that happen, I think, a lap sooner, as Dylan is just starting to creep in on Sheriff Doofy in the GT3 Lexus. So you can see it's a very heavy Lexus opted GT3 field here today. There was a Supra and another BMW in the field leading up into the update that happened over the weekend, but to change their cars. So see drivers on a couple of different machines here now. But Dylan is just heading into the second part of Spoon Curve, and this is a pretty good spot in all actuality. Ideally for Dylan to catch up to Sheriff here, he can try to get around him on the back straight here and go through in 135R. Dylan does Sheriff does exactly what he needed to do there. He knows that that is a recommended blue flag zone for this race, and he just absolutely just pulls off the racing line, just let that LMPH go, and they both continue on with their race. So that was an ideal spot for Dylan to catch up to the first GT3 car here today. Now Jay's going to have to navigate around Sheriff here as well, but unfortunately Jay is not going to catch up to Sheriff in such an ideal position. He's going to close in on this GT3 car, leading right into turn 1 and 2 in the S's here, and that is going to be a tough sector to try and get around a GT3 car in. So it is going to be communication, patience, and I'm sure what's going to happen here, but we're going to stick with it. And Jay just picks his moment here. It's going to put him on the outside of the corner here, but he carries the speed around and actually gets the job done quite well there through the S's. So Jay manages to get around Sheriff quite nicely there, and that leaves JP and TDC Gaming battling it out here as we head in through the S's. And boy, oh boy, what have we been missing back here, as these two are nose to tail right now, heading up out of the S's in towards the Dagners, and boy, this is a fight we got going on right here. TDC is just nestled right up in underneath there, and it looks like we had a mistake made by Medic there. Sheriff does get the position on Medic there, as we can see that Lexus now ahead of that Ford GT. The guys are caught up to the Ford GT in the hairpin. Edon's also closing in on this fight here now too, so boy, it is just traffic busy here right now, moving part through the racetrack as the LMPH cars have caught up to that GT3 class. They're just going to sit on board with JP and TDC as they continue this battle right here, and I think there was a little bit of contact there between TDC and Sheriff, and I think TDC's trying to give the position back to Sheriff there, but I mean, really in reality, no need for that as the LMPH is just going to absolutely fly by there. He's now going to have to close back in on JP, so that was great for JP. He gets about a second and a half breathing room there. Not so ideal necessarily for Cat and Sheriff there, as there was contact leading into Spoon Curve. assuming that was definitely under braking there. And we got Jolly Rancher getting it a little bit wrong, coming through 135R there as well. And now we have to keep in mind that the drivers are starting to feel where these racing tires are only going to get about 20 minutes, maybe 25 minutes out of these racing medium tires here today. Those that have opted to go on the medium tires, so you can just kind of assume that the softs are going to be significantly less, probably 15 minutes, and the hards will probably go 30, maybe 35 minutes before they're just totally toast. Now, that doesn't mean that the hards don't have rubber, that just means that they don't have the traction or the grip to keep the pace up anymore. So we've got Dylan just closing in on our third place GT3 car here right now, which was Miss Devious. And the Westside gap between the two of us was about 3 seconds. So again, it was about 0.2 of a second gain there in that transition between the LMPH and the GT3 class car. But Dylan is going to close in on ride light speed in a different spot here, and he's actually just going to be able to get around him before entering into a braking zone. So that does allow ride light speed not to lose quite the same amount of time, having to allow Dylan through as Miss Devious lost in comparison. So gaining about 1/10 of a second in that transition there as he allows his teammate in the LMPH to get through just in a good spot. And again, like I said, timing is going to be key here today for our LMPH racers. Where you catch up to that GT3 traffic around Suzuka here today is going to be very crucial. It could make the difference in today's race. It absolutely could potentially cause a positional change, cause a battle to happen, because a GT3 car slows you up for 2 or 3 seconds because you just caught up to him in a very bad spot on the racetrack. Very easy to do here. And now we've got our class leaders here navigating around each other. So our GT3 leader and our LMPH leader here, right, again in the S's. But man, look at that, these guys are pros. They're handling this like champs. We've seen Dylan and J-Set both make very nice, tidy, clean passes in the S's, and a big part of this is because the GT3 drivers are remaining very predictable. They're sticking to the line. That allows the LMPH driver to make an informed decision where to put their car in and out of that corner to get the pass done. And so far, with the exception of one moment there we've seen between TDC Gaming and Sheriff there, has been working out pretty well here at Suzuka as well. So again, just good job to the racers. Some tough navigating as we got teammates here. Fast Egon now ripping through here. And I mean, that's just a name I made up for him. It just seems fitting as Fast Ginger and Egon are teammates here in the series. So you can see them allowing each other to get around each other as efficiently as possible there. So Egon is about Fast Ginger is 8 seconds in behind Miss Devious. Egon is about 3.6 seconds in behind Cat now. So, and we got Jolly Rancher. He is just checking out the scenery here at Suzuka as he comes out of the gravel trap there. So, struggling a little bit here at Suzuka in that LMPH car here tonight is Cobra a little bit, but you know, Suzuka is a very difficult racetrack. It's not a racetrack that leaves you room for error. If you make the mistake, it makes you pay. It's just that simple. It's very rare that you make a mistake at Suzuka and it doesn't make you full pay. And as I say that, it looks like we've just seen TDC go absolutely straight shot off the corner there, and oof, coming back right on track in front of one of the GT3 cars there. Oh boy, it is just going from bad to worse here for TDC. So let's see what happened there. Just under braking, just gets it a little bit wrong here. Realizes that he's got to let some traffic go through. Okay, he thinks he's good. He's going to get around there. He comes back out on track. Doesn't realize there's a GT3 car coming. Blows the corner a little bit. Not sure what happened there. Maybe a little bit touch between the two cars, but boy oh boy, TDC is having a tough last 5-6 minutes of this race here. It's just been a little bit down for him here, so he's just got to put his head down and get back into the rhythm. But JP now 10 seconds in behind Jay. We've got Egon 6 seconds in behind JP. TDC is 9 seconds in behind Egon. And Jolly Rancher about 20 seconds in behind the LMPH field, but he's still got a solid minute on the GT3 field, so no worries about that happening there. We've got Ismail, pardon me, in the lead here. He's got a pretty solid 1-2 as well. It's currently a little over 10 seconds over our second place driver, Ride Lightspeed from LTW Motorsports. And then we've got Miss Devious about 9.3 seconds in behind him. So it's going to be interesting to see what the drivers opt to do for their tires here now. As we're going to be leading into pit stops here, I would assume within the next anytime from now to 5-10 minutes, we'll see all these drivers probably make a pit stop. Based off of just what I'm looking at, obviously on the screen in front of me here now. With that being said, Medic has extremely good tires, so maybe a potential one-stop attempt coming here from Medic. And I mean, he's only 11 seconds back of Sheriff here currently, so it's not entirely not necessarily a bad idea to try one stop if he's able to pull it off, but it would have to be a pretty flawless run, I would think. I think some of the fluctuation just made me changing my distance to my microphone as well, potentially a little bit. We're working on trying to just stay in one spot. It's hard when you get excited because the racing is good, right? So we've got Dylan here in first place. 9 seconds up the road here from Jay now, so starting to see some separation. Taking a look at a couple of different things, the battery management system, the tires, the fuel. And it's interesting what we're seeing from a lot of the drivers here. So JP is at 7.3 seconds in behind Jay. And it's different situations for each of the drivers as we go through and look at the battery, go look at the tires, go look at the fuel. We've got Egon here in fourth place. Looks like they all started on the same tire. I think that's all the way across the board here. Looks like mediums are the tire pick here today. I mean, typically in these kinds of 1 hour distance races, medium tires are usually to go to at least a couple sets of them. Maybe you'll see a set of softs come out if they can get within that soft tire window at the end of a medium stretch. But we got our first driver making a pit stop here. It is going to be Medic to make the stop, and then our overall race leader and LMPH leader also coming in for a pit stop here as well. So let's see what Jay opts to do here as he comes around. Doesn't look like he's choosing to come into pit lane here. There's a very fast entry if you do choose to come in, so it's hard to tell. The camera angle doesn't necessarily able to see if they're planning on coming into pit lane or if they're just planning on zipping right on through down into turn 1 and 2 here like we see Jay do. So Jay will take the race lead back over at 6.9 seconds over JP, who is going to stay in second place there, roughly about 7 seconds ahead of Dylan. Dylan comes out right in behind Medic, who's also just coming out of pit lane as well, so I can just navigate around that, but Medic just sat on the inside line there and allowed him to get through. We got Ismail also coming in for a pit stop here in 7th place as well. Now so the GT3 leader leading the exchange of pit stops now for the GT3 cars. Egon getting around Medic here as we enter into the S's. Up in 4th place, we got TVC Gaming here in 5th. We got Jolly Rancher in 6th place. So Ride Lightspeed is now our race leader in GT3 as he continues on around the racetrack and has an 8.5 second gap over 10 tenths Miss Devious. And Miss Devious has been slowly but surely closing back in on Ride Lightspeed, but Fast Ginger closing in on Miss Devious right there in the slipstream here now, 0.6 of a second in behind. So Fast Ginger is starting to close up the gap a little bit here, and looking to grab a podium position here as we head through the S's. So let's stick with this here as we got Sheriff coming in for a pit stop now as well, which allows Ismail to move up into 4th place here in the GT3 class. And of course, as his competitors start to make their first initial pit stops, he should retain the race lead back. But it's going to be interesting to see if the overcut or the undercut works best. The strategy from the drivers is that they have in their mind for amount of pit stops and the type of tire compounds they're going to take, and then not being able to factor in whether or not Mother Nature is going to cooperate is always a big wild card here today. So lots can happen still. We have 22 minutes gone, just a little over, which leaves us just a little under 38 minutes in the race still. And Fast Ginger is still in the slipstream there, just not quite able to close in and get the job done here, but maybe just being patient, waiting for a potential pit stop. does here is he coming through the Dagners. He's just closing in on his teammate Sheriff Doofy here right now in the Lexus. And that is a fresh pit stop for Sheriff there as well, so he should have some fresh racing rubber. He's just going to keep it nice and tight on the hairpin there. He has to be a little bit cautious there because he didn't want to hook that curb. So now, of course, he'll use just overall power of the LMPH car now just to get around his teammate there on the outside of the corner. Easy peasy. JP here is 7.4 seconds in behind Jason, losing a little bit of time after Jason. Dylan is just gaining huge chunks of JP here. 2.7. 7 seconds in behind when he came out of pit lanes by the end of this lap. Oh, we got a yellow flag. Who is the yellow flag? I don't think there is a yellow flag. I think it was somebody making a pit stop. Alright, so we have Egon here in 4th place still. We got TDC Gaming in 5th. We got Cobra has made a pit stop here. He is in 6th place. We've got Ride Lightspeed in 1st place in the GT3 class. Has yet to make his first pit stop, same as our 2nd place driver, Miss Davies, who is being chased down by Fast Ginger here in the Mercedes in 3rd place. Ismail has made that pit stop and is about 3.5 seconds in behind this battle for currently 2nd position here in the class. But again, that will change as drivers start to make their pit stops and the positions start to filter back towards thereabouts, give or take a second or a few, to where it was before the pit stop sequence started. So this is kind of what we're sitting on here right now. Fast Ginger and Miss Devious is the closest thing to a proper positional battle we have on a racetrack right now. And Fast Ginger really closing in there on the back of Miss Devious and that Lexus as they went through spoon curves there. Fast Ginger just really able to hold a much tighter line through the corner there over Miss Devious. Miss Devious is going to play some defense there as she heads into 135R, but all this is allowing to happen is Ismail is going to continue to take chunks of time out of these two here as he's already made his pit stops. So this is a very interesting strategy coming from the racers here, and they are going to continue to go around again, so they are not done yet. Battle on here for 2nd and 3rd place in GT3 here between Fast Ginger and Miss Devious. Again, she is going to take a mid-defensive line heading into turn 1 and 2 here. Fast Ginger just keeps up Mercedes in some clean racing air, and he's just going to stay right on the rear bumper of that Lexus. So although she's doing everything she can to not allow Fast Ginger to make the pass, she's also not able to shake Fast Ginger off the rear bumper of her Lexus either right now. So this is great racing here between the Ten Tenths racers, but opposing teammates here and of course opposing competitors on the racetrack. But now look at Ismail is going to get involved here. This has now become a 3-way battle. And Fast Ginger is just going to dip a tire in the grass there, and that's actually enough for Ismail to get the run and get around. So Ismail moves in between Fast Ginger and Miss Devious. He moves into 3rd position there, and he's now going to get on the rear bumper of Miss Devious here and ideally try to get the path done before the end of this racing lap and really extend that lead that he had on these two drivers pre-pit stops. So again, I don't know what the strategy is. Maybe there's a 3-stop involved and a 2-stop involved. Maybe there's not. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But very interesting varying strategies. That much is for sure. And all 3 of these GT3 cars, again, nose to tail as we head up towards 135R. And we've seen so much of this from the GT3 class this season. Very close, tight racing strategies, keeping the cars close together, different varying strategies, different tire compounds. Oh, it has been fantastic. And Miss Devious is the recipient of going wide in through 135R there. Ismail is going to get ahead of her there. And a little tap from Fast Ginger as they come in. And I believe she's probably going to be making a pit stop here. Or is she going to continue? Nope, she dives into pit lane. She has had enough of that. And is going to make a pit stop here. So Dylan is 19 seconds up the road over Egon here. Egon is 100% under fire from Jason right now, who is on much fresher tires than Egon is. Egon is actually looks like he's just going to give the position up to Jason there as he moves down the inside in 35R. I'm not sure if that compromised his corner there. No, it looks like he stayed in pretty good shape there. But I'm assuming we're going to be seeing a pit stop coming from Egon here very soon. I think that some of these drivers are trying to stretch this into a one-stop strategy, but I just don't know the tires are going to allow it to happen here. So got JP here out in 4th place. We've got TDC Gaming in 5th place. We got Jolly Rancher out here in 6th place. He's just dealing with a GT3 Mercedes at the moment here, piloted by Fast and Ginger at the moment. So we'll stick with this for a moment, as this is always fun to watch the LMPH go around the GT3 cars here at the racetracks here on Gran Turismo. So you can see now Jolly Rancher has the, I believe, GT3 race leader up ahead of him there with Ismail. So Ride Lightspeed here in 7th place. We've got Fast Ginger here in 9th place. I'm not sure what's happened there. Somehow that LMPH has gotten into the mix of the GT3s in the overall race, and that's the first time we've seen that this season, where a GT3 car is actually overall ahead of an LMPH car here, so that's interesting. I was wondering if we were going to see that this season. Alright, so Dylan up the road, I mean 21 seconds, he's just smoking up the road here right now. Jay here is about 10 seconds ahead of JP right now as he heads through Spoon Curve. JP is moving and grooving here with a really good outlap there from pit stop there as well. We got TDC Gaming here in 4th place. He's got 20 seconds to JP. We've got Egon here in 5th place. He's got 6 seconds to TDC Gaming, 6.7, and then we got Jolly Rancher in 6th place here. So okay, everything's filtering back into place here. We just had one driver still out of the pit stop sequence, so that's what we were seeing there. And Dylan again having to make a pass on GT3 car right in the S's there, and that is going to be your GT3 leaders again meeting up with the LMPH leader, navigating around each other into the S's here at Suzuka. Alright, Fast Ginger is in 2nd place here, currently in the GT3 cars, but has yet to make that pit stop. Boy, I tell you, out of all the drivers here that have attempted to make that one-stop work, he is the only one in the field here that has actually had the tire left to make that one-stop work. So, that's interesting. Is that going to pay dividends for Fast Ginger? Because currently, the one-stop strategy, even after the pit stop sequence, will keep him in the top 4. Had him up into 2nd place, leading into the halfway point of the race. So if we put that into practice, into theory, that should put him into quote-unquote 2nd place by the end of the race. So A, it could be a very good move for position. B, can he make it happen? So there we go. One-stop versus a two-stop strategy appears to be what we are going to see here today. And the bigger question is it going to be 3 medium sets of tires, or is it going to be 2 mediums and a set of softs? Is also the next question that I have as well as we continue on. It looks like the sun is starting to come out here at Suzuka, so it looks like it's going to be a picturesque Suzuka morning here for the racers. We should reset the lobby. I mean, what can I say? It's protocol, so just following protocol. We got 8.2 seconds between TDC and Egon. We got 46 seconds separating Jolly Rancher from Egon, and then we've got our GT3 class. So Fast Ginger is finally making his pit stop here. He will be last of the drivers in this first pit stop sequence to make a pit stop here in both classes of cars. But it is Ismail. He's got now 30 seconds to get over Ride Lightspeed and Alexis, who is the next closest competitor to him. So I'm not sure what's happened to our GT3 class early in the race there, but definitely give Ismail a very quick advantage. And since then, he's just continued to build on the gap. But the very early pit stop, I think, really helped open up that gap. And does that pay off for him at the end of the race? The bigger question is drivers are going to be potentially on fresher compounds of tires and much lower fuel percentages, potentially to make them faster do they catch back up and close some of that gap back off at the end of the race? I guess that's the bigger question. So Fast Ginger comes out as exactly as it's expected, about 4th place in the GT3 field, only 9 seconds in behind Miss Devious. We've got Sheriff here in 11th position, and he's got about a minute to get to Medic in 12th place here. So some of these cars are going to be very tricky circuits, but some of these cars that are tricky more tighter technical circuits are going to be extremely good at some of these power circuits we got coming up, like the one we have in round 5. I don't even know where we're going next week. That's pretty funny, actually. Alright, so let's jump on board with our race leader. We haven't done any onboards yet here tonight. So on board with our race leader Dylan 0119 here in the LMPH, and your overall race leader as well. As he just heads out of Degner, so this is going to be taking him into the hairpin now. I forgot to change that. Ooh, yeah, no, we're in a fun truck, actually. Like it. I don't remember which one it was. It was, we'll talk about it later. Alright, so Dylan here in the race leaders, we are highly distracted as usual. And this is now heading into Spoon Curve here. So, again, very limited vision in these LMPH cars. I mean, that's about what they see. Plus your review mirror there that you look behind. You're not actually seeing out of the car necessarily, because this is a video game. You look behind and not what the car actually looks like. You look behind, very limited vision to the back. Peak holes, as I like to call them, in these race cars. They have a very large back window, all of these race cars, but it's a prototype. It's not a cockpit. Behind you, so there's really, in a sense, like a mirror in these cars. So really it is all side mirrors, windshield mirrors. I mean, that's basically what they've got to work with, right? So this difficult sight lines for the LMPH cars, and Jay is about 27 seconds in behind Dylan here. JP is 3.5 seconds in behind Jay now. We got TC is about 24 seconds in behind them, and we got very quick separation here in this race as drivers have been having their battles with Suzuka here today. Ismail 30 seconds over Ride Light. Ride Light's got about 9.5 over 10 Tenths Miss Devious. Miss Devious has 8.3 over Fast Ginger, who continues to close in on Miss Devious here as well throughout the race. Sheriff is about 9.5 seconds in behind Fast Ginger, and Medic is in 12th place, about a minute in behind them there. With a very styling looking Ford GT race car, I may say. Just gonna say, it looks very good. And just have a little listen as it goes around the racetrack here. So J and JP here are separated by 3 and 3.7. I was going to say 3.5 because that's what it was, but now 3.7. As Jay said, heads into 135R here. The gap to the race leader is about 28 seconds. Barring something happening here right now, that's probably what we're going to see, I think, from Dylan to Jay at the moment. We got JP here again in 3rd place, but again, we got varying strategies on the racetrack as well, so it's entirely hard to say what's really going to happen by the end of the race. But JP was closing in on Jay, but now Jay's starting to open doors back up on JP a little bit here. 35 seconds to get between JP and TC Gaming. We're keeping our eye on that a little bit here. We've got Egon with 3.6 seconds on TC, so Egon is starting to close in a little bit here. again, some very, very different strategies coming from our racers here today. We got Jolly Rancher here in 6th position. Oops, we're jumping around to the wrong driver here. Ismail here in 7th place with that BMW M6, and we got TDC Gaming making a pit stop here. And interesting. I'm not sure. Something must have come up here as the crew seems to be looking at that car. So hopefully everything is okay there with the damn cat. TDC Gaming here. It does appear that the car is back out. Are we seeing some game glitching? Who knows? Alright, but we do have Dylan just getting around what appeared to be the Mercedes of Fast Ginger there. That is the Mercedes of Fast Ginger as they head into turns 1 and 2 and the S's. So a pretty good spot to catch up to traffic. In this case, we have Jay said here he's 26.6 seconds in behind Dylan, so he has closed a little bit of time up on Dylan here as Dylan was navigating around some GT3 cars potentially. That will put JP at 4.6 seconds in behind Jay. So JP was closing in on Jay said pretty good here, but now that gap is starting to grow back between the two, and so 41 seconds to Egon. So JP is still opening the gap to Egon a bit here. 41 seconds, pardon me. So, what is it, 35? Yeah, no, he's opening it up to Egon a little bit here. Now, Egon's got some GT3 cars up ahead of him here. He's going to have to navigate around as well, so. Heads into 1 and 2 and easy peasy, gets the jobs done, and the racers continue on with their races. So TDC Gaming here 25 seconds in behind. Cobra is 30 seconds in behind in Gaming now, so I'm not sure what happened to TDC there. Maybe just had a quick technical malfunction, something came up there, had to bring it in, and they just had to quickly assess something there, sort something out, but they got the car back out on track. So he didn't lose the position to Jolly Rancher, he lost some time, that's about it. So still moving forward, and that's the important thing here, but whatever the issue is, seems to have gotten it corrected. So Ismail here is our GT3 race leader. Again, very healthy gap, and we're seeing some pretty good spacing between our cars here. I figured that the pit stop strategies were going to close the racers up a little bit here, but it seems to be separating them slightly. And again, it's more of a racetrack, I think, than it is anything else. Suzuka is very easy to lose time on, and one mistake turns into another and another and another and another, and next thing you know, you've got a 10-second gap to the car that you only had a 2-second gap to a little while ago. So some compounded mistakes, maybe just slightly slower around the racetrack than the driver you're chasing. Maybe that's the case a little bit. Hard to say, but when you get into qualifying conditions where you can run the car at its absolute best pace, and then you can bring that car into racing conditions, and you need to manage your tires, you need to manage fuel, you need to manage certain aspects of the racing distance and what the car needs to be able to do for that amount of time, then we see the pace change a little bit with these racers, and that's exactly what we're seeing here so far. From the majority of our field here, their qualifying pace was blazing fast, but the race pace is not quite the same as that qualifying pace, and that's because if they tried to run that race qualifying pace in race, then there's a pretty good probability that tires just wouldn't hold up. So we got Dylan, what appears to be making his final pit stop here tonight. Jay was just navigating around Fast Ginger there as they head out of Spoon Curve into 135R. So I'm assuming, if it's anything like last time, Jay is planning on staying out for a couple more laps here, and then we may see a dash-in pit stop. don't think he's got the tire to go the distance, and I don't think he's got the fuel to go the distance, but I could be wrong. But he is going to take the race lead away from Dylan, as Dylan has just started to come out of pit lane there. So JP is on very cold racing tires. There you can see him making a mistake there, getting it back underneath him as he slides through the inside part of that curbing and grass a little bit, but he keeps it underneath him, keeps it moving forward. And currently is about a minute to Jay and Dylan. Now Dylan has already made his, what I assume is final pit stop. So I'm not sure where JP lost all the time there. He'll gain some time back to Jay, but definitely not the 3.5 seconds that we've seen, or the 4.7 seconds that we've seen from the two just a few minutes ago. Okay, so we had, I believe, Medic just off on the edge of the track there, allowing some of that traffic to get through. A little bit of a slow-moving car, but he was in a safe spot there, so just good recognition from the racers. Boy, TDC is going for a ride there as he goes for a wicked ride through the gravel there. You can see a little bit of scratch on the nose of the car there, some paint scratching there, but again manages to keep it underneath him now. Jolly Rancher's feeling some heat here from Jason. Almost makes a mistake there as he heads through 35R, and he actually picks up a half-second penalty there, and I think he actually just took too much of the inside curbing there, and he was rewarded from racetrack officials with a half-second penalty there. So Jolly Rancher right now is giving Jason some breathing room from the overall race leader, which is Dylan right now. And Jay is going to continue to keep trying to trek up the road here from Dylan, and I'm not sure if that was a mistake made there or what was going on there, but it goes a little bit wide heading into turn 1 and 2 here, and is this just a little bit of a miscalculation on the braking here potentially? Maybe he thought the Cobra was going to come out wide of the corner there, and he was just pre-reacting to that. It's hard to say what that was there. He just kind of bailed out of what he had on the entry he had going on there. So this is interesting. We're going to stick with this here, but he has absolutely made sure he's getting around going into the hairpin here. Now, Ride Light is going to try and get something done here on that LMPH car too. He's just going to poke his nose on the inside of that corner there, and things are getting a little bit spicy here for our boy Jolly Rancher. And now he's going to go off the racetrack, and boy, he is just absolutely feeling the pressure here right now. Maybe just a little bit distracted. Things are a little chaotic there, but he's going to allow that GT3 car to get around there as he goes for a little bit of a wild ride. Boy, the end of this race is getting a little bit chaotic here. Some of the drivers are really showing their struggles at Suzuka here tonight. I mean, that's going to happen to racers throughout the season. You're going to have your good days and you're going to have your bad days, and it seems like it's just one of those bad days for Jolly Rancher here today, but that is the way it goes. So it is Ismail leading things here for our GT3 class. And a 5-second lead here over Ride Lightspeed, but Ismail has recently made his second pit stop here as well. So Ride Lightspeed has 5 seconds currently behind, but the bigger question is, can he take this another 13 minutes without having to make a pit stop? Because if he doesn't, he's going to give that time back up to Ismail. Same thing for Stevie's here. Really the same question kind of applies there. Can she take it the distance? I mean, they both came in about 2 minutes earlier than the halfway point of the race to change those tires, which means they're going to have to essentially go 3 to 4 minutes longer than they did in that first run on that same tire. The only real difference potentially is maybe the amount of fuel load on the starting point of that tire. Maybe just a little less wear will happen at that point, but interesting to see what they're going to do here. Fast Ginger is 5.2 seconds in behind Miss Devious, and has just again been tracking her in slowly but surely here throughout the stint, working that one-stop strategy here, and it could work out for him. It's going to be interesting to see. Very interesting to see how it's going to play against the one stop, against the two stops here. We got Sheriff, who has just recently made a pit stop a couple of laps ago here. He's got 36 seconds to Fast Ginger. He's got about a minute and a half to maybe 9. So battle for the race lead here between Jay and Dylan. And I guess the big question is, did Jay decide to jump in the pit lane at this point here? And that is exactly what he's going to do. So he is going to jump into pit lane. Dylan is going to continue on down the racetrack with the race lead. And Jay is going to get a stop done here. So Egon is 56 seconds down the road here and appearing to not going to be stopping again. So we do have a one-stop attempt in the prototypes as well. A slightly different approach to the one-stop, so we'll have to wait and see. But he does have JP closing in on him here at this point. And that gap is 1.3 seconds, so he does not close in Jason to get the position in second place there, but he does still have third place. But boy, I tell you, JP is closing quickly here as that gap is almost within a second now of third place. So game on, JP versus Egon, VR2 versus VR2 here as well. Both drivers in the VR2 headsets here, so it'll be a fun battle. I'd love to see it. And that is, of course, if JP can close in on Egon here and make it happen. You can see that the drivers have been handling the close quarters combat very well here as far as dirty air goes. We have cars with much variations in sizes, shapes, power, and weight on the racetrack here. And I mean, this is battle on right here between JP and Egon here. And Medic got right, just stuck in the middle of it there. But again, the LMPH driver's doing a great job at getting around the GT3 car, not even giving up a stitch in this battle right now. So JP is giving Egon the business here as we head through the Degners, and he's going to be looking for a good run through Degner 2 here to try and get an angle heading into the hairpin. So where is Egon going to go? Egon is going to go defensive, but is he going to shoot out wide? He is going to hold that defensive line, and JP is just going to settle in behind here. So is JP thinking about just applying pressure until Egon maybe makes a mistake and he can get an easy pass done, or is JP going to try to play a little bit of racing mind games with Egon and try and get it done here? So he does get a run here. And let's see if we can get the job done. Side by side here as the two head up the racetrack. We're now 3 wide, heading to 135 R's fast. Ginger gets past. Could you imagine being the GT3 car there and having 2 LMPH cars split you like that coming around into 135R, and then they make a mistake in front of you. Now you're catching up to them in the Casio triangle. These guys are trying to give each other space. This is crazy racing right now as JP is just navigating back around Fast Ginger right now. So everybody survives the Casio triangle chaos here with lap 28 with like 9 minutes left in the race. But boy, things are getting interesting. And I mean, kudos to Egon for holding off the charge of JP there during that fight. I mean, JP definitely applying the pressure there, and that was juicy. That was good. That was fun. I enjoyed that. I hope everybody at home enjoyed that as well. So it's right at light speed here in 8th place. It's Miss Devious now, and she's got this hot battle right on her heels right now, as JP has re-engaged this fight with Egon here. And with that being said, let's get back to that fight, shall we? And again, JP just makes a small little mistake as they're having to navigate some GT3 traffic while navigating this battle. I can't imagine what these GT3 drivers are thinking here today. And there it is. JP makes the big move. We're going to touch the tires here as we get going. And we're side by side. We're drag racing out of the hairpin. And I think JP is tired of having Egon close that door on the apex over there. He really went in deep on the brakes there, got that car in beside him there, but he just couldn't get the run. So now he's going to try and use spoon curve here again, get into that slipstream and see if he can get a slingshot engage heading into 135R. He's being much more patient this time, and Egon is most certainly aware that he is there. Egon continues to play defense here, and oh boy, side by side through 135R. Here we go. JP's gonna get it done on the outside there on Egon. Now can he reel the car in and get it through the Casio triangle? This time around, as Egon is gonna close up very quickly under the brakes there. As the anchors really had to come out hard there for JP, and that is going to be pass and done. But is it battle done? I feel like this is far from over here. So let's take another look at this real quick. As apparently it's not going to do us very much. Okay. Check that replay when the move is being made, but apparently it doesn't want to show it to us. So JP is still holding off Egon here, and Egon is just about a second in behind here now. And I mean, I wonder if JP realized that there was a tire difference between the two of them there, because Egon fought for his life right there for third place. And now he's got TDC Gaming tracking him down here, and there's still 7 minutes left on the clock. So I mean, it's entirely potentially possible that something could happen here. Cobra is having a rough day. Looks like he's behind his Toyota here today, but I mean, the thing is still rolling forward. He's still moving and grooving on the racetrack. So Ismail only has a 13-second gap to Ride the Light here now. I think Ride the Light is really trying to stretch this into a one-stop strategy at this point. I don't think he wants to make another pit stop. Maybe. I mean, maybe. They might have it in them. Got Fast Ginger here. He's 4.7 seconds in behind Ten Tenths Misdevious, so still closing Misdevious in here on that one-stop strat. Got Sheriff making a pit stop here, and I think Sheriff is looking for fast lap potentially, maybe. With this pit stop here, he's going to come in on really low fuel and on a fresh set of tires and try to get that bonus point potentially. And we got Medic here running our field in 12th place overall, 6th place in the GT3 division here today. But it is Dylan here as we head around Spoon Curve, and I did say expect about 31-33 laps from the LMPH and about 29-30 laps from our GT3 class. So we are pretty close, I think, to on point with that. Jay here is 24 seconds in behind Dylan. He has been taking time away from Dylan here at the end of this stint as well. So we've got JP here, 47 seconds in behind Jay. He gained a little bit of time on Jay there. We've got Egon here in 4th place. He's 5.3 seconds in behind JP, trying to close back in on that battle. TDC is 35 seconds in behind Egon in closing, but it took him about 2 minutes to gain that 5 seconds. So at that pace, he's not going to have enough time to re-engage a battle potentially there with Egon. Jolly Rancher's 46 seconds in behind in 6th position, heading to our GT3 class. Our overall GT3 leader here is Ismail, and he's got only a 16.6 second gap here now over Ride the Light Speed, who is currently sitting in 2nd place in the GT3. So again, we have some varying strategies here. We've got 2-stop versus 1-stops happening here right now on the racetrack, and Ride the Light is trying to work that strategy into his favor. Misdevious trying to do much of the same thing. 17.5 seconds in behind Ride the Light, and really starting to give some time away here to Fast Ginger this late in the race. Maybe a potential podium battle between the two here before the end of this GT3 race, but we said about 29 to 30 laps for the GT3 cars, and I think we're right about on point there as well. Sheriff's going to come around here, and I think that's exactly what we're doing here. I think we're seeing a fast lap attempt here from Sheriff. He's got about 2 tracks out of here as we go around, and hoping that he doesn't have to allow LMPH traffic or anything through here. So timing of trying to get that fast lap too is very crucial. So Dylan navigating around Misdevious there in 1st place, but still bleeding time away to Jay set here. So Jay is clicking away at Dylan a little bit here, but with only 3.5 minutes left on the clock, it is potentially a little too late at this point in the race. But given it everything he's got there in 2nd place, JP in 3rd place here, 49 seconds in behind Jay, is going to be hoping for something crazy to happen. As I say that, he slides around Degner too there as he just catches a track edge. He gets it back underneath him, and he's going to get moving forward again, but a scary moment there for JP. here around Suzuka. We got Egon in 4th position. That's allowing him to close back in on JP a little bit there now with Ismail closing in on Egon there in the GT3 car as well. TDC Gaming 32 seconds in behind, and a nice healthy gap with Jolly Rancher at 50 seconds there. Just trying to make sure that if something is going to develop here in a late race, like potentially this GT3 battle happening here with 2.5 minutes left in the race, that we don't want to miss it. So 1.8 seconds separating Mercedes and Lexus here right now, and oh boy, it's going to be a slog here for the 2 Lexus cars right now out on track to try and get this last lap in, I think, which could be an advantage here potentially to Fast Ginger. I mean, he's now got the gap down to 1.3, 1.4, so boy, are we going to see a last lap battle for that podium position in our GT3 class here today. It does appear that could potentially be the case, as they're getting very, very close together, so this will be the final lap for our race leader as he comes across start-finish line here. Should be much of the same thing for Jay as he is lurching in towards battle for 3rd place in the GT3 class. Actually, here he's just heading in on Fast Ginger and Miss Devious here right now. And he realized he wasn't quite close enough there to get tucked in before the corner there, so he had to settle in behind the GT3 cars. And of course, I mean, he's got a big, long straightaway here. You can use all the power in that hypercar to very easily navigate that GT3 traffic. And he will continue on up the road there. JP here in 3rd position. We've got Egon in 4th place, 10 seconds in behind. Very interesting strategies here today. TDC Gaming in 5th place. Again, Jolly Rancher in 6th. We've got Ismail here in 7th. We've got Ride the Light in 8th, or 2nd place in the GT3. He's got 19 seconds to 3rd place, but 3rd place's problem is not 2nd place. 3rd place's problem is 4th place here. No, that's not the problem at all. Fast Ginger has gotten the job done, so Fast Ginger has gotten around 10 tenths misdevious here and moves himself up into 3rd position. So Fast Ginger is going to take that final podium position away here with 10 seconds left on the clock here, and that will run down the clock for our GT3 drivers here today as well. So we're just going to jump in with our LMPH cars here and go through the field as they come to finish our race here at Suzuka today in round 3 of the GT45 Gaming Multiclass Championship. And it was a pretty good race. It was a very tough race for the drivers here today, and I think that they handled it pretty well, but it looks like the gap is going to be 24 seconds as Dylan comes through for the LMPH win. Ismail coming through for the GT3 win here as well, so congratulations to both of those drivers. We've got Ride Lightspeed coming through here next as well with J-Set, so we may get them both together at the same time here. Nope, it's going to be Ride Lightspeed to get across first. J-Set will be right in behind there. Good job to Jay. Where is JP? And that is Fast Ginger now as well. Where's JP? Okay. So we got Fast Ginger coming through here next. And then I believe it is Miss Devious in behind Fast Ginger for 4th place in GT3. And then I believe it is not JP. Sheriff just coming through. Medic is just coming through. Now it's JP and Egon. Alright. So JP will come through with 33 completed racing laps here today. Egon's going to get through with 33 completed racing laps here today too. So this is very interesting. We're going to break this race down here at the end of the race a little bit and talk about this. So 4th place finisher for Egon. Congratulations to Egon, because out of all the strategies we saw here today, that was definitely the boldest strategy of them all. And although it didn't work out for a podium position for him, it kept him on the lead lap with the race leader, which means he lost his only bonus points at this point to those drivers. So let's go take a look at the race results here. So it is Dylan in first place for LMPH, with JSET in second position and JP in third place for the podium here for LMPH. Egon falls a little shy of the podium here this week with 4th place finish. TDC Gaming in 5th place, and Jolly Rancher will finish in 6th place. A lap down with TDC Gaming to the race leaders in LMPH. Here on the track, and JSET will actually take the fastest lap of the race with a 1:45.357, taking that bonus point away from Dylan. So no full sweep of points for Dylan here this week in the LMPH, and we're starting to see a turn tide here now as drivers are starting to realize that those bonus points are very, very important here this season. That takes us down into our GT3 class. All right, so it is Ismail with the GT3 class win. 7th place overall in the race today in a 201.770. Currently the fastest lap that we see for GT3 drivers. That is Ride Lightspeed in 2nd position here for the GT3 class, and has hit the podium each week here so far in 3 rounds of racing, but does not put in a faster lap than Ismail. We got Fast Ginger with a 203.1. We've got Anna 3rd place finish here today, so a bonus point for him for that. Ten Tenths Mischievous just misses out on the podium here this week with a 202.4 as her fast lap share for the 202.3, and Medic with a 205.7. So it is going to be Ismail to take that fastest lap for the GT3 class as well, and it's a sweep for Ismail here this week. Again here in the GT3 class. Good race, well done, congratulations. Yes. Good race, well done. Congratulations to our whole racing field. All right, so let's go back to here. And let's talk about what we saw here in today's race. Now, Suzuka was really going to be a very good test of the procedures for the championship, the blue flag procedures for passing protocol for blue flag situation, whether it be LMPH to GT3 or class on class. From what we can tell, again, it looked like it was handled pretty well. We had some contact in this race for sure. There was definitely some very hard racing going on at points in this race for sure, between positional battles for classes as well. And we've seen a little bit of chaos at the end of the race. But the one thing I want to note is we saw a 2-stop versus a 1-stop strategy here today, and we've seen that strategy work out, I think, in my opinion, pretty good. For the drivers that attempted the 1-stop strategy. So let's break it down into the LMPH drivers. So that was a great race, Ginger. Great job, buddy. LMPH drivers, they all stayed very true to that 2-stop strategy, with the exception of our 4th place finisher, Egon. Now, Egon started on the medium tire, and when I think he realized that it was going to remain very clear for the remainder of the race, opted to go onto the racing hard tire. It's a big call when you're up against racing medium and racing soft tires. Now, he made that 1-stop strategy work out pretty well. Now, unfortunately for him, he wasn't able to hold JP off in what was actually a really epic 3 or 4 lap battle between the 2 drivers to try and hold that final podium position. He wasn't able to hold that final podium position, but the 1-stop strategy did do one very important thing in this series for Egon here today. It kept him on the lead lap with the racing leaders, the guys he's chasing in the standings after a 3rd place finish last week. So what that does is that gives him equal points for his race today. So Dylan, JSET, JP all got 33 points for 33 completed laps of racing here today, but so did Egon on, and he made one less pit stop. So imagine what he could have done if he could have made a medium stint work on that LMPH car here today. He potentially could have very well have been very solidly on that podium here today. And we've seen the two-stop versus the one-stop strategy in our GT3 class as well today, and we're going to break that down as well as we've seen a couple of different variations of the one-stop strategy versus the two-stop strategies. Ismail, our race winner in the GT3 class, and our pole sitter today, used a two-stop strategy. Now, I'm not sure what happened at the beginning of the race in the GT3 class. Couple cars went wide into turn 1 and 2. I don't know if there was an incident, or if there was lag related, or what happened, but it allowed Ismail to get a really clean break right off the beginning of the shot for the GT3 race start. And from there, he just kind of built on the gap. So it was a pretty quiet race for him. But what I did notice was that 30-second gap disappeared down to about a 17-second gap at the end of the race compared to the second and eventual third place finisher, Ride the Lightspeed and Ten Tenths Fast Ginger. Now, Ride the Lightspeed went in quite a bit earlier. He went in at the 28-minute mark to change his tires to go to a second set of medium tires and decided that he had the tire in the fuel range to go the rest of the race, so toughed it out for the remaining 32 minutes of the race, and managed to make it work for a very strong second place finish, and of course staying on the lead lap with the guy he's chasing in the standings, Ismail, currently. Much of the same can be said for Fast Ginger. Now, Miss Devious attempted the very similar strategy that Ride the Lightspeed did. She just didn't quite manage it as productively or efficiently as the second place finisher does. What her one-stop strategy compared to Fast Ginger's one-stop strategy, who went dead middle of the race, pit right at that 30-minute mark, took a second set of medium tires, and came out with a little bit of a slower pace compared to his competitors, but had much better tires at the end of the day. Was able to get himself onto the podium in the last lap of the GT3 side of the race. And ultimately, I think that the one-stop strategy really paid off for the racers that attempted it here today. It kept them in good positions. It also kept them on that lead lap with the leaders that they're chasing in the standings. And again, because it's points per laps completed this season plus bonus points, that allows the drivers that don't necessarily get first or second place to still have a hold on the championship points race at the end of the season. So the 4 GT3 drivers will also get similar points for laps completed. The difference is those bonus points: 1 point for pole position, 1 point for fastest lap, and then we give 3 points to first place, we give 2 additional points to second place, and we give 1 additional point to third place. So we've seen 33 laps from our LMPH drivers here today. So as an example, Dylan will get 33 points for his 33 laps completed. He will get a bonus point for his pole position, and he will get 3 bonus points for first place, which will give him a total of 37 points in this round of racing unofficially until official results have been settled. And then of course that gets tallied to his season total, which would put him at slightly over 110 points currently as it stands right now, if that stays official. Much of the same thing goes through the rest of the field. So strategy, pace, lap time, and everything matters this season. Weather played nice here at Suzuka today for the drivers, did not factor in any more into the race, and the race had already done for some drivers, and it spread out a little bit, unfortunately for us, but we saw some great battles throughout the race, and of course that great positional change in the GT3 class again right at the end of the race. The GT3 class has provided some great racing all season here so far for us. The LMPH drivers are starting to dial in, and I suspect we're going to see some very tight racing here out of those LMPH drivers very soon as well. Cobra's like, well, that sucked. Everybody else is like, that was fun. He's like, yeah, it was still fun though. Yeah, you're right, guys, you're right. It was fun. I just had a tough day. I feel you, brother. It's all good. Shake it off, my man. But hey, thank everybody for tuning in here tonight. Again, don't forget to like and share if you're new to the channel and you enjoyed the content. You want to see more content like it, you go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It's free to do. All of those things are free to do, and it just helps the page grow. And again, we are getting back to our regular routine of things here at GT45 Gaming throughout the next coming years. So one of 3 major championships here with the GT45 Multiclass Championship, and I just want to give a couple special thank yous to Ten Tenths Simracing for development behind the scenes of the championship here this season. And I would like to give a thank you, of course, to the admin staff and volunteers behind that run the championship behind the scenes, to the racers that are involved, and a special thank you to Race Asylum organization as well for their qualifying format that we are using here in the championship. When you find something that is just too darn good to not use, you got to use it. But you got to give credit where credit is due. So thank you to Race Asylum for that, because it really does provide for proper great content and proper great qualifying for each of the classes of cars. So with that being said, round 4 is going to be live next Monday evening at 9 p.m. Eastern Time sharp here at GT45 Gaming is when our qualifying flag will start. And we will see our GT3 cars hit Monza in Italy for our qualifying start next week. It's going to be a fun track. It's going to be a fast race. And should be a pretty good doozy like Suzuka was here today as well. So take care. Have fun all. Remember, you all matter. I always challenge my viewers every week. Random act of kindness, whether it be somebody you know or a complete stranger, whether it be big or small. Always try to lend a helping hand within your community, because you never know, you could be changing somebody's life with the smallest act of kindness. So do what you can out there. Continue to show the world that there are good people out there, because that is our goal. That has always been our goal. And most importantly, stay winning. We'll catch you all in the next one.
Never stop, I'll get it if I want it. Gotta make to myself a promise. I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top.
Yo, no, I ain't the type to give up. If I do something, man, I do it till I get what I want. I turn a business out of nothing into something I love. I got a poker face, but honestly, I'm not one to bluff. I flip a switch, never miss, man, I always stay up. Don't let them see you, bitch, always have a plan to stay tough. This life ahead of you ain't easy, it was built to be rough. But that's what makes a personality, is tragedy, bruh. So keep your head on your shoulders. Now we ain't out here moving rocks, we out here moving boulders. Now we ain't getting posterized, we out here making posters. And we ain't got nothing to hide, we move forward like soldiers. You better wake up for the pay stub, or you'll pay up. Don't make love to the game, bruh, fuck the game up. Change up, rearrange stuff to your greatness. Famous for the way up, play the game, bruh.
Never stop, I'll get it if I want it. Gotta make to myself a promise. I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top, yeah.
You know I'm always honest, there ain't no way I'm ever stopping.
I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top,
I'm always flirting with pain, she like to hurt me and maim. I'm always working to change, but she's still lurking the same. I keep on building a dynasty while the haters be trying me. But they hate from inside, you see, hate themselves as society. So I let them speak quietly while my actions speak wider. See, they be hiding in privacy with the screen. Oh, the irony to hate someone who's trying to be whatever they would like to be. We all feel the anxiety, we make our own rivalries. Yo, so where is all the positivity? I feel like we all just hate on everything, it's killing me. Thoughts build quick, causing different possibilities. Negative thoughts will cause different disabilities. So do better, work hard under pressure. If you got no time, work smarter than ever. Don't ever let them tell you that you can't ever say never. And turn your mind into the truest of go-getters.
Never stop, I'll get